So let me move on to kind of, let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna maybe say a few things that I can do and can't do after a year of studying or immersing, really. Yeah, stuff that I can do. I can follow simple conversations and exchanges, like even on YouTube and stuff. I'm starting to understand. I kind of get the gist of a Talk to Me in Korean Iyagi episode podcast. That's a podcast I really recommend, by the way, for kind of upper beginner-ish when you start to like understand sentences. Talk to Me in Korean in general have very good podcasts that are completely in Korean. And I like the Iyagi one because they're a little simpler. They have a more complex one as well, which is the Bibim chat, where they have a bunch of people just naturally having a conversation about a subject. Iyagi is usually is two people and they are trying to use less complex stuff, but it's still in like native speed and kind of very natural. So it's really good listening input. And yeah, I can now, when I had a really hard time in the beginning where I could barely understand what they were saying in the Iyagi chats, and now I can get the gist of one. I can usually guess what the subject is. It's kind of a good indicator of my comprehension level, actually, because if I look up some of the keywords in the Iyagi, I tend to understand kind of what's going on overall. I, of course, will miss some details here and there and maybe some nuance. But yeah, so that's kind of a good indicator of where my comprehension level is at because Iyagi is relatively easy for me to comprehend. I can follow a SpongeMind podcast. SpongeMind, by the way, please listen to it. It's great. And Johnson, please make more episodes. I'm waiting. I've binge listened to the whole thing, both in English and in Korean. SpongeMind is awesome. I love SpongeMind so much. The reason being that it is a language podcast, and I am really into languages, but it is a language podcast in English and then the same topic in Korean. So I get to listen to what is gonna be talked about in English entirely and make myself familiar with the content, and then I get to listen to the entire thing in Korean while already having an idea of what's being talked about. So it like increases my comprehension level by a lot. And then Johnson is freaking funny. When I listen to the English version beforehand, I understand, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's probably like 80% of a SpongeMind podcast. When I don't listen to the English beforehand, it's much harder for me. I have to concentrate really hard. But I love this. It's such a hack. It's such a comprehension hack. And I can literally feel myself absorbing the language. It's ridiculous. I love it so much. Please make more content, Johnson. Please, I'm waiting. I'm already halfway through it again. Re-listen. I love those. So it gives me a huge comprehension boost because I can listen to the English first and then to the Korean, and I can listen to that shit all day because it's all about language learning methods and how to learn languages, etc. I don't agree with all of what is being said in this podcast, but it is still a very interesting, it's always fascinating I love listening to people talk about this for hours, and I can talk about it for hours myself, as evidenced. So that's one of the things that I can do. It's one of the most, highest order of compelling, comprehensible input, which is so important, to put it in Stephen Krashen's words. Johnson, Jeremy, thank you for giving me this gorgeous, gorgeous immersion material, the best immersion material ever. Then Harry Potter. I have this is just the first book, but it's kind of separated into two things. So I've been reading number 1 for like months and months and months. This is way higher level than I am at right now. But because I am a Potterhead, I have read, the first book is actually my favorite. So I've read it the most out of all of the Harry Potter books. I have read the first book in English, so in German, more than 10 times. In English, probably more than 20 times. If you count the audiobooks, it's probably around 30. I know it's a little bit ridiculous. Don't judge me. It's my comfort zone. I listen to it like every year, once or twice. in French a few times. I've read it in French. I've listened to it in French. I've listened to it in Italian as well, the first book specifically. So, I mean, I read the whole series in English several times, but the first book specifically, I know the story inside and out. I can probably recite lines from it if I was pressed. I know it so well that even if this was complete gibberish, which at the beginning when I started reading this a few months ago, it was, I still knew what was going on. I still knew what was going on because I know the story so well. So this was amazing for me to get me to start reading a bit more because I'm quite busy. And as I said, I also believe I have undiagnosed ADHD. So like I can't really, I'm just kind of all over the place. I'm mostly, my main immersion method is listening right now, mostly podcasts. I am so goddamn slow. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I've tangented again. I was talking about stuff I can do and can't do. Yeah, but recently, Cloudy from our Refold Korean Discord server, he told me that on the Storytel app, it's like an audiobook app, through a VPN, the Harry Potter audiobooks are available in Korean, which I couldn't find them anywhere else. And with the Korean audiobook at the same time, I have reread the first, like I'm already done. So, and it's actually crazy. Just reading, my comprehension is like, it's very hard. I'm really bad at I haven't practiced reading enough. I'm very slow at sounding out the word in my mind. And so it takes me a while to understand. Only listening to the audiobook, my comprehension is a lot better, of the Harry Potter audiobook specifically, because I know the content so well. But only listening to it, it's a lot better. Listening and reading at the same time is the craziest comprehension boost ever. I understand almost everything. Like it's ridiculous. Like there's so many words I don't know, but still, because of the context, because of the rhythm of how the reader says the sentence and the voice acting, and because I know the story so well, I'm enjoying it so much. Unfortunately, I don't always have time to read at the same time that I'm listening to it, but it's fantastic. It's phenomenal. I love it. It's great. Basically, my recommendation for all of you is you find your Harry Potter. Like find your thing that gets you so excited and like just use this to death. I've even reread the first chapter and stuff. Like I'm gonna reread the first one a couple of times. I think this is one of my domains now, as you say. Like I'm gonna use this until I understand every word in it. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then K-pop lyrics, I can, not all, but more and more I can understand, or like when I read them and stuff. What I can't do, some of what I can't do, is watch drama without subtitles. I can't. Also YouTube. If there are subtitles available, I will turn them on. I can't make myself. I know you're supposed to tolerate the ambiguity, but I can't deal with it. I want to know what happens. Guys, I work in the film industry, okay? I'm a storyteller. I cannot not know what the dialogue is about. It's impossible. And I'm very bad at rewatching stuff, except for my very favorite dramas. But even those, I end up turning on the subtitles at some point, the English ones. I know I'm bad. I cannot read native content for adults and understand. I mean, I can torture myself through it, but it's very hard. My reading speed, as I've mentioned before, is like abysmal. And navigating websites and things, like, you know how when you look at something that's written in your native language or in your native alphabet, your brain is so familiar with the words that it won't read the entire word. It literally will read the first and the last letter, and everything in between can be jumbled, and you will still be able to read the word because your brain sees the thing as one entity and just knows it. I am not familiar enough with Korean, and I have not had enough exposure to written Korean for that to be a thing. So I have to sound out every syllable in my mind or out loud if I dare. And so my reading speed is abysmal and it's very painful. I can't just look at a thing and know, oh, this is, you know, Hagin. I have to like wakin, you know, and then I'm like, oh, okay, got it. So it makes it very painful for me. But yeah, so even stuff like this where, because this is a shortened version of The Secret Garden, right? I'm very slow. I have to look stuff up. I'm very slow at reading, but I can. I mean, it's getting there. It's getting there. Yeah, it almost makes me really happy when I understand full sentences that are like a little bit longer. 기차가 이렇게 도착했습니다. 밖에는 비가 주룩 내리고 있었습니다. I apologize for my pronunciation. 주룩 is a new thing that I've learned now. 주룩. Am I the only one who really, like, I have this weird thing where I think it's really cute how Koreans, when they say oo, the oo sound, and sometimes the o, their like mouths really, their lips just kind of go like super forward, like not a normal not like the amount that you would in English maybe if you say ooh, or in German ooh. I mean, it's a little bit, but they're like out there, right? I don't know why I love that. Maybe it's the artist in me. I'm just like, I want to animate it, you know, just kind of the lips just going ooh. Anyway, tangent. Yes, what I can't do as well is native content. So podcasts and audiobooks is similar. So if it really depends on the level. There's some stuff that I kind of understand. I don't know, just it's weird. It depends on the day, it depends on the subject and stuff. But like most like native audio clip stuff, even audio novels, I have a hard time with my comprehension. So I guess material where I'm not already familiar with the content is still a little bit difficult for me to understand if it's for, you know, native speakers. Stuff like Yagi, Talk to Me in Korean, Yagi is amazing because it's kind of like natural conversation, but they're like keeping it a little bit simpler than they maybe would if like in the Bibim chat where they just straight up just adults talking, right? Which is nice because it gives you a motivation boost as well to like be able to understand that stuff. And yeah, like don't be fooled, by the way. Like it's not like I understand every single word and I could make an accurate translation of everything. It's more like I get it. Like I get what is being talked about, but I wouldn't be able to translate every sentence, for example, like I could in German and English and French. Although even that is hard. I mean, translation is a whole other can of worms, but you know what I mean. I'm kind of at this like vague, I'm like, okay, I get what's going on stage. It's very cool though. It's very exciting. Speak. I can't speak at all. I can't speak for shit. I haven't practiced and I won't for a while yet, I think. Although I might, I don't know, because I'm starting to have entire conversations in Korean in my head, but not out loud. I believe my next hurdle, the thing I have to get over, my next stage is that extreme embarrassment I feel when I open my mouth and try and say anything in Korean. Because my ear is so attuned to the language now, I make myself cringe when I speak Korean. So this is gonna be a hard one, guys. Like when I finally start to output, that's gonna be rough. It's going to be rough because I literally make myself embarrassed, like all by myself. I'm alone in my home imitating Korean and I cringe hard. So that's gonna be interesting. I will let you know how that goes, you know, getting over that. But yeah, I'm starting to have conversations with myself in my head though, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I rarely say anything out loud or practice pronunciation or anything like that. This is cool though. I'm in it for the long run, so I'm sure I'll catch up. It's gonna happen. Seeing as the language is kind of slowly but surely bursting out of me in the sense that I've, you know, the conversation I'm having in my head and like I'm starting to feel the need to vocalize some things. So probably within the next year, probably I'm gonna start outputting a little bit for shits and giggles because it just happens naturally. You just kind of wanna, you just want to say things at some point, right? But yeah, I'm gonna maybe not yet. Oh, I really should though, just to document how terrible I am. I'm gonna think about it maybe at the end of this video. Another thing, similarly, I can't write. I can't spell for shit. My main method of immersion is listening, because I am a busy person who's always around doing stuff, or even when I draw or like have to do something where I don't have to use a lot of brain power, I put on, you know, some Korean. Or when I started working out recently again, finally, God, the quarantine has not been good for me. I listen to Korean stuff. So my main input method is Korean listening. And so I recognize words. This is why I get such a huge comprehension boost when I listen to the audiobook while reading along, because I will recognize words just by the way they're pronounced, but not by the way they are written. And so that transfers to me not being able to write for shit. And also autocorrect in Korean is fucking sucks. I'm sorry, like it's not great. It's already not great in English, but in Korean it's even worse. It's never correct. Anyway, I can't write by hand. I can't write, I mean, I can a little bit, but I don't really do a diary or anything like that yet. So I write the occasional sentence on the phone or whatever in the Refold Discord server, but that's about it. Oh, really funny though. Do you want to see my evolution of Hangeul? I'm at least I have a handwriting now, but I'm gonna show you my very first Hangeul stuff, because I was writing a lot of, well, not producing a lot of Korean, but I was writing a lot in Hangeul in the beginning when I was doing the grammar stuff, because I was copying all the sentences, right? Because I wanted to get some practice actually writing it. I hardly do that anymore at the moment. I think I will probably start journaling in like at some point. At the moment, I take all of my notes in English with some like random German and French words interspersed because multilingual problems. I will probably try and start writing more in Korean within the next year. Pardon, I don't know why I'm burping all the time. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just want to show you my Hangeul evolution because it's actually really cute. All right. Okay, so I did the 500 words book. I actually wrote down like all of the vocab, because they have in the book there's related vocab and stuff as well, not just the keywords. And so actually I think this is when I started learning Hangul. Yeah. This is my By the way, I was gonna put this in another section, but I'm just gonna put it here. Those of you who have trouble with Hangul, it's fine. You know how it's said, what did this scholar say? Like, a smart man can learn Hangul in an hour, a dumb man can learn it within like a day or a week or something. 3 days, I think it was in the saying, right? It took me like, it took me like 2 or 3 weeks. So it's fine, guys. Don't be discouraged. I just it wasn't entering my brain. I don't know. So I had the classic. And so the first few sentences that I wrote, oh my gosh, it's so funny though. Yeah, like really don't, if you're slower than what is said to be the norm or whatever, it's fine, okay? I can read and write Hangul now, and it took me like 2.5 weeks to learn it. So it's like the little awkward squiggles. I love the awkward squiggles. They're so cute. Come on, give me some more awkward squiggles. There we go. Some of my first sentences. I was writing like, you know how when you write really slow and it's just super awkward. And then I think I wrote it again. Yeah, I wrote the sentences again later. So then you see the comparison. I now have a slant and an actual handwriting. So I went from this in the beginning to, I think this was fairly recently. Yeah, February. So almost, so 11 months or something. So, I mean, it's not the prettiest. I still have, I can improve it. But yeah, I have a handwriting now. I write much faster as well. So I went from this type of stuff to like here. It's cool. It's cool. You can get there. I was practicing. 감사합니다. 안녕하세요. 네. I was just practicing. 네. 아니요. I just think it's really cute. 안녕하세요. I really couldn't write it. It's so awkward. It's the cutest. But yeah, I write fairly fast now. I can even take notes while listening, even though I probably misspell like most of the things, but I can then kind of look it up later. But yeah, I have this is like a general notebook where I just kind of jot down random things. It's just sort of not organized or anything like that. Like the thing is, I hardly ever look at it again, but sometimes I feel the need to write down new vocabulary. I don't know why. It's just a thing. I just want to write it down, but I don't ever look at it again. Like stuff like this, I will make random lists of words related to feelings. And what is that? That's an Iyagi. Yeah, that's the one time I listened to a TTMIK Iyagi with the transcript, because I do have the Talk to Me in Korean subscription for the website because they have so many videos in Korean, so it's really great for input. I haven't actually watched a single one in like a month or something. It's very good, and for a lot of them they have transcripts. So the one time I was studying an Iyagi with a transcript, I was actually writing down copying some of the sentences. But yeah, I mean, there you can see how my Hangul is a bit better already, and I'm just kind of taking notes. Like even there, I'm not even sticking to the lines. It's just all over the place. Oh yeah, this one. I think I was listening to a thing. Just started. Yeah, but I like this. So sometimes I do that. My Hangul evolution, right? So that was the 500 words one, and it's just kind of cute because even within this, I did it the way the book suggests, and I only started the Anki deck like halfway through, when I was already halfway through, and like I really did one per day, and you can kind of see how stiff and awkward, like this is the first day, how stiff and awkward my Hangul is. 제 친구는 회사원이에요. 그 친구 너무 바빠요. 그래서 저희는 보통 주말에 만나요. It's so cute. But then, yeah, the later ones, so that's like, you know, quite a lot later. I think, what is it, 10 words per day? So 50 days later, it's a lot less awkward already. I haven't read these short stories in so long. Let me see. 요즘 한국 가수들이 인기가 많아요. 네, 맞아요. 다른 나라 가수들보다 인기가 많아요. These are really cute sentences. 한국 노래를 듣기 위해서 한국어 공부가 필요해요. 네, 맞아요. 단어 발음을 Oh shit, I forgot this word. What is it? 한국 발음을 It's ear. Duh, I just wrote it wrong. I couldn't read it because I wrote it wrong. 단어 발음을 기울여 들어요. What? Pay close attention and listen to the pronunciation of the words. 단어 발음을 기울여 들어요. Okay. 지도에서 한국어를 찾아보아요. 제가 좋아하는 가수 회사 주소가 궁금해요. Stalker? Much? That's really funny. Oh, those are so cute. I love that it's one about K-pop, because literally why I started learning Korean. K-pop and K-drama. Classic. But yeah, I mean, there was an example of my current Korean reading out loud skills. I guess it's good I have some in this video to compare to later, but talking, of course, without having a script or anything to read off of is a lot more difficult. It's so cute. I mean, I'm giving up on having this video be short. I'm just gonna ramble on forever. I mean, it's a year update, so I guess it's okay. Don't know who's gonna watch this, but I will probably. So that's my writing stuff. What I also can't do very well yet is navigate Korean-only websites is a pain in the butt. It's very hard. It's really excruciating for me. I don't know the vocabulary well enough yet. What I also can't do is use a monolingual dictionary yet. I should probably attempt to make the transition sooner rather than later, but I just haven't had the motivation to try yet. Yeah, probably again, there's a high possibility I will within the next year because, you know, things are moving forward fairly smoothly. So I need another coffee. And I also kind of need to go to work, but it's already like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I really should be doing other things. But I've been wanting to do this video for ages, so I'm finishing it now. The question is whether I'm ever going to edit it. All right, let's get into some fun stuff. So I'm going to go through some of the struggles that I had and then talk about all of the exciting stuff, like the little things that keep me going when I'm having a rough time, or, you know, the stuff that really gets me excited and then gets me through the rough times, and why I don't think I will give up like I did with Japanese.